Hey, what is up everybody? How are you guys doing? I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Thanks for coming and checking out Bluefoot Homestead. I do appreciate it. It means a lot. So today I'm a little bit further away from the microphone. You're going to get a lot of background noise, and of course my ducks are ready to go out. My roosters are crowing. It's time for them to get fed, and I have not done that yet, so I apologize. But today I wanted to kind of show you a little bit that this is my solar array that I have set up. Now this is through OUPES, not OUPES, but OUPES. And I have 6 panels, I believe 240 watts a panel. I actually want to double check it. Hold that thought. So yes, I verified 240 watts a panel. And yeah, it has been kind of a mess so far. It's taken me 3 times to get the connections right, and I think I finally got it right. The first time I hooked it up, it was giving me 4 watts of power input. So I think I had something crossed. I went through and double checked everything, fired it back up. It was giving me 4 watts again. Disconnected everything, hooked it all back up, and then I was getting power. So I probably had something crossed somewhere at some point. Going off of the diagrams that they have online, seemed really simple, and for some dumb reason I just couldn't really seem to figure out 1 to 2 to 1 to 2 to 1 to 2. Pretty simple, right? But anyway, I had a hard time with it. So I am starting kind of a test run with it to see how it's going to work. I hooked this up, actually got it finally hooked up right, the whole system together yesterday. I had it, I plugged some things in just for the battery to see how much things are going to pull, how much power things are going to use. Plugged it back in the wall, charged it up, but the whole point of it is to have the solar power. Grid down type of situation. Now this system is a whole home backup, so they claim. I can tie it into the power grid. It's an uninterrupted start to the system, to where if my power goes down, it barely even flickers the power, and it automatically kicks the power onto the solar generator and continues to power the house. But that's a complete waste when it comes to any sort of substantial power down situation. Because yes, it's going to power my house for about 3 hours, 4 hours tops. Especially when you don't see the change or anything like that. It's not going to power everything for a long time. Now you can get the switches that you put up next to your breaker box, to where you can select specific things to go into it, but it's going to be what's on the breaker. It might be a whole wall of power, or a room, or something along those lines. And yeah, you can go through and unplug things, and then you can still have your TV on, or you can have lights in your house or something like that for a lot less power. But the whole purpose I made this, or the whole purpose I got this system, is just basically to preserve food for freezers, refrigerator, and stuff like that. Now I will say, I'm not doing this as a commercial. I'm not doing this as a sponsored video. OUPES gave me jack crap. I wish I would have gotten it for free, but I didn't. I spent about $6,500 on the system. Now a big thanks and a big kind of shout to Alaska Prepper. I used his discount code. Buying the biggest system that OUPES provides gave a substantial discount. So awesome, thanks for that. I used it. So as much as I don't really care for people constantly doing sponsorship commercials on their YouTube channels, that was pretty awesome. It was a big help. That's awesome. So anyway, I also have a 120 watt panel that they gave me extra. I have a chair that they gave me extra. They gave me a whole bag of things, kind of a little prepper pack, if you will, of little extra goodies and stuff like that, like a flashlight that actually works pretty good. It's cheap, but it's a good quality, good current technology with flashlights. So yeah, it was a pretty good experience. I didn't expect all that stuff. I thought they gave me the wrong order because all the freebies showed up first. And I got this little itty bitty solar panel for 120 watt. And I'm like, oh crap, you know, what happened here? But everything ended up shipping, getting out, and totally happy. Now, when I first got it, I was hooking it up and I could not figure out, well, okay, let me say this. There were a couple things that I wasn't really too confident on, to say it that way. The first thing was the way that they shipped everything. Because I got the freebies first, I was a little bit worried about that. When I actually got the unit, I was trying to plug it in. It's a very simple thing. I got the extra battery and the 5. Opus. It'll be in the title. For some reason I worked all night and kind of tired. But anyway, I got the 2 pieces, and it comes with a very heavy-duty power cord to connect the main unit to the battery. And for some reason it just would not plug in. And I'm thinking, am I that tired? Am I that dumb? I mean, it's a plug. It should just be able to plug right in. And I called up Opus. They said, yeah, there should be no problem with it. It just plugs in and clicks. You might have to put a little bit of pressure on it, stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, so put a little bit more pressure on the battery side of it. And it was just kind of giving. There wasn't a solid mount there, and it was kind of pushing in. The more pressure I put, just felt like it was bending plastic or something, and I didn't feel right with it, especially with, you know, high power units like this. I didn't want to screw around too much. And I called them back and said, hey, I'm going to go ahead and send you pictures of what this looks like. So I sent them a picture, and they said, yeah, it's just not plugged in all the way. You got to plug it in further. And I'm like, I can't. So I unplugged everything, and then I noticed that the whole plug, the female part of the plug on the battery unit, was pushed in a little bit. So I snapped a picture of that and sent it to them. I did a wider thing pretty much of the whole back of the unit, and then a zoomed in macro shot on my phone of a close-up on it. They said, no, it looks fine. I'm going, well, it doesn't feel fine, and it's not working, so I don't know what to say. But something's up. And they sent me over to like the engineers or the tech side of it or something like that. And they said, no, everything looks perfectly fine. I'm like, okay, pay attention to the plug. This is where the problem is. Pay attention to the plug and look at where the seams are. And I sent them a picture of the main unit that was plugging in perfectly fine. I'm like, look how this one's flush and the other one's pushed in. You can see the terminals on the main unit, and you can't even see the terminals on the other one. They said, oh, yeah, that is not right. I'm like, well, yeah, that's what I've been telling everybody, and I can't plug it in. I mean, it's a simple thing. So anyway, talked to them for a little bit on it, and let me back up just a little bit, a little more comfortable here. They said, yeah, let me go ahead and look over the pictures, look over the script and everything, and I'll get back with you and we'll deal with the problem. Then they got back with me and they said, okay, well, you have more problems than that. Your whole case is broken. And I'm like, okay. They're like, yeah, look here, here, and here. And there were 3 spots on the case around the power panel on the back that were completely busted. I'm like, oh, I did not even see that. I didn't really get that far, you know, I mean, just put the 2 next to each other, plug it in, that's where I stopped. So, and that was on the pictures that I sent them, and I didn't even catch that. So they're like, okay, go ahead and send this one back, and we'll send you a new unit. They sent me a unit first, and then I went ahead and sent the other one back in the packaging that the new unit came in. They wanted me to send it first, but they were really good about that. Customer service was great on everything. They took care of it. They just didn't see what I was talking about at first, I suppose, and it took a minute to clear everything up on what the problem was. After that was resolved, everything went perfectly smooth. Everybody's really nice there. Customer service was good. I wish they were a little more knowledgeable on what I was saying. It was a simple thing. I can't plug it in and it's broken at the port, you know, I mean, pretty simple, right? But anyway, that's over. So then I finally got the new unit, got everything hooked up, it powers up. So turned it on, had it plugged in, charged it 100%, plugged in one of my freezers, and it just pulled a little bit of power. I ran it for 2 days, and I think it used about 15% of the battery, just on the main unit, not the backup battery as well. So I was like, okay, yeah, it's working, that's good. It powered everything up pretty good. And then it basically sat because I wanted to hook up the power panel or the solar panels, and I wasn't really able to do it. I didn't have a lot of time. I didn't want to dedicate the time to doing it. I didn't necessarily need it, but I wanted to check it out and make sure everything works. So I hooked everything up and it didn't work. Unplugged everything, folded it all back up, put it away for a little bit. And then a couple days ago, I was able to get the solar panels back out and finally get it hooked up. Got it hooked up, it didn't work. Went through everything, checked everything again, it didn't work. So I'm like, this sucks, you know? I mean, $6,500 isn't a cheap purchase. So finally, like I said, starting this video out, took everything apart, rehooked up everything, and it's good to go. So yesterday I started at 60% when I got everything plugged in. I plugged in 3 freezers, had the solar hooked up, hooked all 3 freezers up, and let it start charging. Now, I wasn't getting a real good charge at first, but it seems to be kind of sequential. Started out kind of light on the solar input, and then it started getting more and more powerful. I had to go to bed. Clouds were rolling in. I don't know if you can really see right now, but it's full overcast right now. It's been raining. I just got out here with a break to a break in the rain to be able to film this. So, but it's been pouring down rain all morning. Completely cloudy. The clouds were rolling in last night, and also I was starting to get shade on the solar panels. Now you can see there's a wall right there. The sun sets over in this direction, so it's going to be blocked from this small building right here to be able to get the solar. Also, the panels are facing this way. Right before I went to bed, I twisted a couple of them just to try to grab a little bit more power while they were still in the sun and not in the shade or under cloud. So I wanted to get the whole, as much as I could. So I haven't been in to check yet. It ran under clouds for the rest of the day yesterday, overnight, and just a couple hours. It is about 8 o'clock right now in the morning. So it's just got a couple hours of daylight under a lot of clouds. Not a lot of solar, I'm guessing. But I want to go ahead and go in and check and see how the batteries are doing, see what the power is doing, make sure the freezers are running, and all that kind of stuff. Now, it might be a little bit loud in there. I'm going to go ahead and take you into the room. But hopefully it'll work good enough to record a video. So let's go ahead and go inside and see how everything's doing. I'm curious myself. Now, it has been a little while since I have run a batch of freeze-dried anything, so I got that running in here. I am into a little bit of extra dry time with it. Not sure if you'll even be able to see. I know it's a little bit crooked, but yeah, there you go. So yeah, that's working good. I was having issues with that as well. So yeah, there we go. Let me go ahead and back it up. Let me give you a little tour here. Now, those are the units. I'm going to go handheld. These are the freezers that I'm running. That's a fairly medium-sized, let's say medium-sized chest freezer. A new stand-up freezer that we just got. That thing is brand new. This is going to be for beef. No light in it, but we got all our extra meat and stuff like that. Mostly pork and some ribs and whatnot. Nice and cold in there. And then all the way over here, this is the original chest freezer that I had. That has all our everyday food, not really storage, but we don't have a huge freezer on the fridge that we have inside, so this is just backup. Quick meals, Costco stuff, Costco frozen section and all that kind of stuff. So the bottom battery, the B5, this is at 84%, this top one is at 89%. Right now I am only pulling in 44 watts on the top and 10 watts on the bottom. So 54 watts is all I'm pulling in with 6 240 watt solar panels. So it's cloudy, the sun is low. Okay, started at 60. When I went to bed it was 70% the last time I looked at it, and it has gone up almost 20% under a little bit of clouds overnight. So I got a lot of charging yesterday before the sun went down, which is awesome. And if this is the par for the course, so to speak, it should be perfectly fine. Now I'm running all 3 of the freezers off of this unit, and it is gaining power. So it's passed through. I have everything plugged in right here. This is a multi-plug, like one of the little power strips with all 3 freezers plugged into it. So yeah, I'm going to be curious how it's going to be if it stays cloudy all day today, how much it drains compared to how much is coming in, because I'm actually only using 10 to 15 watts right now to sustain the temperature, which is pretty awesome. Very efficient, very low. So with 46 coming in, it should continually go up in power, and as far as the capacity goes. So I'm gonna get out of here. It's a little bit warm, it's a little bit loud. Let's get back outside. Okay, so yeah, I think it's a complete win. Like I said, I'm not using it for a full power, home power backup. I know it's overkill. That's the way I like to do things. I like to overkill things. I want to have it and not need it. Isn't that the whole purpose of prepping? So I will probably come up with a different system when the time comes that this is going to be an essential piece of the preps, to get maximum sunlight out of the solar panels. Now the problem I have as well, they're fluorescent orange on the back, and people are going to be able to point out solar panels. I do have a little bit of a break along a fence right here. I've got a road, say that's 5, 10, about 15 acres away, and there's a couple breaks in the trees. I got trees separating that about halfway, but people will still be able to see from the road that I have solar panels right here if they know what they're looking at. But eventually I want to get something maybe on the roof of this building and mount them on plywood, and then just be able to get like a little hinge or something like that with a piece of wood and a couple different notches on it to set it different. You know, in the morning set it here, afternoon, and then evening, and be able to adjust both sides. But it is going to be more visible. I don't really want visible, so I'm going to have to try to figure that out. There is absolutely no rush on it. That is going to be a post SHTF problem I'm going to have to deal with. There's a lot of different ways to do it. I can just move these panels manually around the corner of the building to get the afternoon light and stuff like that, so that's going to be good. So being that it's overkill, I will be able to go in and charge anything I'm going to need to charge. I'll be able to probably power my refrigerator